What you're about to see today is absolutely unbelievable. The coins in this video have been watched by collectors for more than 25 years, like wild vultures circling hidden treasure. For decades, many experts believed these coins had the potential to explode in value, but nobody knew exactly when. Then something unexpected happened. Information surrounding these coins became impossible to ignore, and their true importance finally came into the spotlight. The shocking part? Their values didn't just rise, they shattered collector expectations. Some owners discovered they were sitting on small fortunes without even knowing it. If you have one of these coins, you may be looking at the luckiest day of your life. Stay until the end, because every coin gets more surprising than the last. Coin number 1. Imagine finding a penny that most people would ignore because it looks old, slightly worn, and even has strange green spots scattered across its surface. Now imagine learning that the same coin could be worth around $75,000 in today's market. That is exactly why the 1,958 wheat penny without a mint mark has become such an obsession among serious collectors. This is not fiction. This is the kind of hidden wealth that can sit unnoticed in a coin jar for decades. The scary part is that many people still spend these pennies every year because they simply do not know what they are holding. If you ever find a 1,958 wheat penny with a red-brown appearance and natural aging, do not spend this coin. The story behind this seemingly ordinary cent is much bigger than most people realize. The year 1958 was a fascinating period in American history. The United States was experiencing economic adjustments after the booming growth of the 1950s. Families were buying homes, businesses were expanding, and the country was preparing for major technological changes that would define the coming decade. It was also the final year of the famous wheat penny design, before a completely new reverse design arrived in 1959. That fact alone gives the 1958 wheat penny a special place in American numismatic history. Collectors know that it represents the end of an era. Whenever a long-running coin design reaches its final year, attention naturally increases. People begin preserving examples, studying them, and searching for the finest survivors. What makes this coin even more intriguing is the missing mint mark. On wheat pennies, the absence of a mint mark means the coin was struck in Philadelphia. To casual observers, that may not sound exciting, but collectors pay close attention to mint locations because they help tell the story of where and how a coin entered circulation. A Philadelphia-struck 1958 wheat penny represents the final chapter of a design that had served Americans faithfully for generations. Many collectors become emotionally attached to coins that mark the end of a historic series, and this emotional connection drives demand year after year. Take a closer look at the front of the coin, known as the obverse. You will see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing toward the right. Above his head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." The word liberty sits proudly to the left, while the date 1958 appears to the right. These details may seem simple, but collectors examine every letter, every curve, and every surface texture. They look for originality, color, and preservation. On a valuable example, even tiny details around Lincoln's hair and coat can dramatically influence desirability. Most people miss this. A coin can appear ordinary from a distance while revealing extraordinary quality under magnification. Turn the coin over, and the reverse immediately tells a story from another era. Two wheat stalks frame the outer edges of the design, giving the wheat penny its famous nickname. Across the top appears E pluribus unum. In the center, you will find 1 cent and United States of America. This design served the nation from 1909 through 1958, making this specific year the final farewell to one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. That historical significance is one reason collectors become fiercely competitive whenever attractive examples appear for sale. The physical specifications of the coin also matter more than many people realize. The 1958 wheat penny was struck using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams. The diameter measures about 19.05 millimeters. The thickness is roughly 1.52 millimeters. The girth, measured around the circumference, is approximately 59.8 millimeters. Serious collectors memorize these measurements because they help confirm authenticity. Even small differences can raise questions. This detail changes everything when evaluating a coin that could be worth serious money. Now let's talk about those green spots and the red-brown coloration. Many new collectors become worried when they see natural aging on an old copper coin. In reality, original toning can be one of the most desirable characteristics. Copper reacts with its environment over decades, creating unique colors and surface appearances. Green spots, darker areas, and antique-looking shades often tell the story of a coin's journey through time. The key word is originality. Collectors love originality. Once a coin is cleaned, polished, or artificially brightened, much of that history disappears forever. Never clean the coin. Even gentle cleaning can permanently damage surfaces and reduce collector demand. One reason surviving high-quality examples are becoming increasingly difficult to find is simple circulation. For decades, these pennies passed from hand to hand, store to store, and pocket to pocket. They were used exactly as intended. Every transaction created tiny wear. Every year reduced the number of attractive survivors. Many coins were lost, damaged, melted, or discarded. As a result, finding a 1958 wheat penny in extra fine condition today is becoming more challenging. Collectors know this. That is why they often hold on to premium examples instead of selling them. Supply continues shrinking while interest remains strong. Auction behavior surrounding desirable wheat pennies can be surprisingly intense. Unlike dramatic movie scenes, most bidding wars happen quietly. Experienced collectors sit patiently, waiting for the right coin. Then suddenly, when a beautiful example appears, competition becomes aggressive. Bidders who have searched for years may refuse to let the opportunity pass. The result can be shocking final prices that leave casual observers speechless. This is where silent fortune becomes reality. A small copper coin that once purchased everyday goods can suddenly command astonishing amounts of money because demand outweighs supply. The market value of approximately $75,000 for an exceptional 1958 wheat penny in the right condition is enough to make anyone pay attention. Think about that for a moment. A single cent carrying a face value of 1 penny could represent serious money. It could be hidden in an inherited collection, forgotten inside an old box, or resting quietly in a family coin album. This is why collectors constantly search through old rolls and estate collections. They understand that hidden treasure still exists. They know that life-changing opportunities often arrive disguised as ordinary objects. If you are checking your own coins, the first thing to examine is the date. Confirm that it reads 1958. Next, look carefully for the absence of a mint mark beneath the date area. Study the surfaces under good lighting. Search for original color, natural toning, and signs that the coin has not been cleaned. Avoid touching the surfaces with bare fingers whenever possible, because oils can affect preservation. Professional grading is critical if you believe you have a valuable example. Expert authentication provides confidence for buyers and helps establish market value. Storage is another area where patient collectors gain an advantage. Valuable coins should be protected from humidity, excessive heat, and physical contact. Many experienced numismatists use archival quality holders and climate-controlled storage. Some of the most important collections in the world are preserved inside secure vaults, private banks, specialized museums, and professional depositories where environmental conditions remain carefully monitored. Patience creates wealth in coin collecting because preservation today can mean greater value tomorrow. One mistake that destroys value faster than almost anything else is home cleaning. Many people think they are helping a coin by making it shiny. In reality, collectors often pay more for a naturally aged surface than for a polished one. Original toning matters. Original texture matters. Original history matters. Once those surfaces are altered, the damage cannot be reversed. That is why experienced collectors repeatedly give the same warning: never clean the coin. The fascination surrounding this 1,958 wheat penny goes beyond money alone. It represents the end of an iconic design, a surviving witness to American history, and a piece of copper that has traveled through generations. Every mark, every shade of color, and every detail tells part of its story. Collectors are not simply buying metal. They are buying history, rarity, and the possibility of preserving something that fewer people can obtain each year. That combination continues pushing demand upward, while available examples become harder to locate. And if you think a $75,000 wheat penny sounds unbelievable, stay with me, because the next coin is even more dangerous to ignore. What comes next is rarer, more mysterious, and has collectors searching with an intensity that borders on obsession. The next wheat penny has a story that makes this one look ordinary, and that is where things get truly shocking. Next up, have you ever looked at an old penny and immediately assumed it was worth only 1 cent? That simple mistake may be costing people a hidden fortune every single day. The 1,955 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those coins that quietly slips through circulation, hides inside forgotten jars, and gets tossed into cash registers without anyone realizing what could be at stake. What makes this even more unbelievable is that many surviving examples show natural aging, red-brown color, and green spots that cause ordinary people to overlook them. Collectors, however, see something completely different. They see a disappearing piece of American history. They see scarcity. They see opportunity. And in some cases, they see a coin that can approach $85,000 in today's market. This is why you should never ignore a 1,955 wheat penny if one crosses your path. The story begins in 1,955 amperes year, when America was experiencing rapid growth and transformation. New highways were expanding across the country, suburban communities were growing, and families were embracing a future filled with optimism. Businesses were booming, consumer spending was increasing, and millions of coins were required to keep the economy moving. The United States Mint worked under constant production pressure to satisfy demand. Coins struck during this period became part of everyday American life, passing through countless hands during one of the nation's most influential decades. Yet, among those millions of coins, some examples survived with enough originality and eye appeal to become highly sought-after collector pieces decades later. What makes the absence of a mint mark so important? For the Wheat Penny series, no mint mark means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. To many people, that seems like a small detail, but collectors often become obsessed with mint locations because they reveal part of a coin's identity. A Philadelphia-issued 1955 wheat penny connects directly to one of the busiest minting operations in the country during a time of tremendous economic activity. Every detail matters. Every mark matters. Most people miss this, but collectors know that understanding a coin's origin helps tell its complete story. Now look closely at the obverse, the front side of the coin. Abraham Lincoln's portrait dominates the design, facing proudly toward the right. Across the top appears the famous inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left of Lincoln is the word liberty, while the date 1955 sits clearly to the right. On an attractive, very fine example, many important design elements remain visible despite years of circulation. Collectors often study Lincoln's hair details, facial contours, jawline, and coat lines because these features help determine overall preservation. Tiny differences can dramatically affect collector interest. This detail changes everything when evaluating a coin that may represent serious money. The reverse side is where many collectors pause for a moment of appreciation. Two elegant wheat stalks frame the design, creating one of the most recognizable coin reverses in American history. At the top is E pluribus unum. In the center, the bold words 1 cent appear above United States of America. This classic design symbolized America's agricultural strength and remained a beloved feature of U.S. coinage for decades. When collectors see a well-preserved reverse with attractive red-brown coloration and original surfaces, excitement often follows because such coins are becoming increasingly difficult to locate. The physical characteristics of this coin are equally important. The 1955 wheat penny was produced using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures about 19.05 millimeters in diameter. The thickness is roughly 1.52 millimeters, while the girth around the edge is approximately 59.8 millimeters. These specifications remained consistent throughout much of the wheat penny era and provide collectors with critical reference points when evaluating authenticity. Professional graders examine these measurements carefully because even slight irregularities can raise concerns. One fascinating aspect of this particular coin is its natural appearance. A red-brown reverse combined with green spots on both sides often tells a story that spans generations. Copper reacts slowly with its environment over time, creating unique patterns and color transitions. While inexperienced collectors sometimes mistake these features for damage, knowledgeable buyers often appreciate original surfaces that have developed naturally. Every spot, every tone, and every shade contributes to the coin's personality. Original toning matters because it confirms that the coin has aged naturally rather than being artificially altered. That brings us to one of the most important warnings in coin collecting. Never clean the coin. This cannot be emphasized enough. Many valuable wheat pennies have lost significant collector appeal because someone attempted to make them shiny. Cleaning removes natural surfaces, destroys originality, and can permanently reduce value. Even gentle polishing leaves microscopic damage that experts immediately recognize. The difference between an untouched coin and a cleaned coin can mean thousands of dollars. If you discover a promising 1955 wheat penny, Leave it exactly as it is and seek professional evaluation instead. Another reason this coin attracts attention is survival rate. Although millions were produced, relatively few remain in desirable, very fine condition, with original surfaces intact. Decades of circulation took a heavy toll. Coins were dropped, scratched, spent repeatedly, and exposed to environmental conditions that damaged countless examples. Some were lost forever. Others deteriorated beyond collector interest. Every year the pool of attractive survivors becomes smaller. Meanwhile, collector demand continues growing. This imbalance between supply and demand creates the foundation for rising values. The emotional appeal of this coin should not be underestimated. Many collectors grew up seeing wheat pennies in circulation and remember finding them as children. Holding a 1955 wheat penny creates a connection to an earlier America. It represents a period of optimism, growth, and national confidence. That emotional connection drives surprisingly strong competition whenever desirable examples appear for sale. Collectors are often not just purchasing a coin, they are preserving a piece of history that continues becoming harder to find. Auction activity surrounding premium wheat pennies can be remarkably intense. What appears to be a quiet sale often transforms into a fierce contest between determined bidders. Experienced collectors monitor auctions for months, waiting for the right coin. When an attractive example finally appears, competition can escalate rapidly. Some buyers are building complete collections. Others are investing in long-term numismatic assets. Still others simply refuse to miss a rare opportunity. The result is aggressive bidding that pushes values higher than many casual observers would ever expect. Today, an exceptional 1955 wheat penny, without a mint mark in desirable very fine condition, can command market values approaching $85,000 under favorable circumstances. Think about that. A coin originally worth 1 cent could now represent hidden wealth that most people would never recognize. This is the definition of a silent fortune. It may be sitting unnoticed in an inherited collection, forgotten inside an old desk drawer, or mixed among ordinary pennies that nobody bothers to examine. You're holding a fortune if you know what to look for. If you want to check your own coins, start with the date. Confirm it reads 1955, then verify that no mint mark appears beneath the date area. Study the surfaces carefully under good lighting. Look for original color, natural aging, and signs that the coin has not been cleaned. Pay close attention to overall condition because preservation plays a major role in collector demand. Professional grading is critical for any coin believed to have significant value. Independent authentication provides confidence, protects buyers, and establishes an accurate assessment of quality. Storage is another key factor. Valuable coins should be protected from humidity, direct sunlight, and excessive handling. Experienced collectors often use archival quality holders designed specifically for long-term preservation. Patience creates wealth in coin collecting because maintaining original condition can have a major impact on future value. Coins that survive untouched for decades often become the examples collectors desire most. So remember these warnings carefully. Do not spend this coin. Never clean the coin. Preserve its original toning. Seek professional grading whenever significant value may be involved. The 1955 wheat penny without a mint mark is more than an old cent. It is a hidden treasure that people accidentally lose every day, a silent fortune hiding in plain sight, and a reminder that extraordinary value can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places. But don't go anywhere yet, because the next wheat penny on our countdown is even more shocking. Its story is darker, its survival is more mysterious, and the collector demand surrounding it has reached levels that few people would ever believe. What comes next could make this $85,000 penny look small by comparison. Next up, what if the penny hiding at the bottom of an old coffee can is worth more than a luxury car? That sounds impossible until you understand why collectors become obsessed with certain wheat pennies. The 1953D wheat penny is one of those dangerous-to-ignore coins that many people accidentally spend without a second thought. Its bright red copper appearance, mixed with natural green spots scattered across the obverse and reverse, often causes casual finders to overlook it completely. Yet serious collectors know something most people don't. This humble 1-cent coin carries a fascinating history, growing demand, and the potential for astonishing value. If you ever find a 1953D wheat penny, stop immediately and take a closer look. You may be holding hidden wealth that has been quietly waiting decades to be discovered. The year 1953 was a significant period in American history. The nation was moving through a time of transition and optimism while adjusting to changing economic realities during the early years of the Cold War. Industries were expanding, manufacturing remained strong, and Americans were embracing a rapidly modernizing future. As commerce increased across the country, enormous quantities of coins were needed to support daily transactions. The United States Mint worked continuously to keep pace with demand. Every penny struck that year became part of a larger story involving economic growth, national confidence, and the everyday lives of millions of Americans. Few people could have imagined that decades later, some of these same pennies would become highly desired collector treasures. One of the first details collectors examine is the mint mark. On this coin, the small D beneath the date tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint. That single letter may appear insignificant to the average person, but collectors often focus intensely on mint marks because they help define a coin's identity. The Denver facility played a major role in producing coinage for a growing nation, and many collectors specifically seek examples from this mint. The tiny D becomes a focal point during examination because originality, placement, and preservation around that area can influence collector interest. Most people miss this, but experienced numismatists can spend considerable time studying details that others never notice. Now, let's examine the obverse, or front side, of the coin. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln faces right, carrying the same iconic design that Americans had recognized for decades. Above Lincoln appears the inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word Liberty, while the date 1953 and the Denver Mint mark appear to the right. On a fine condition example, important design features remain visible despite years of circulation. Collectors pay close attention to Lincoln's facial outline, hair details, coat lines, and lettering. Every surviving detail contributes to the coin's overall desirability. This detail changes everything because condition plays a major role in determining collector demand and market value. Turn the coin over and you immediately encounter the famous wheat penny reverse. Two wheat ears frame the design from both sides, creating one of the most beloved images in American coin history. At the top is E pluribus unum. In the center, the denomination 1 cent appears boldly above United States of America. This reverse design symbolized the nation's agricultural heritage and remained in use for nearly half a century. Collectors often become nostalgic when viewing these coins because they represent a chapter of American coinage that ended long ago. Every surviving example serves as a small time capsule from a different era. The physical specifications of the 1953D wheat penny are another important piece of the puzzle. The coin was struck using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams. The diameter measures about 19.05 millimeters, while the thickness is roughly 1.52 millimeters. The girth around the coin is approximately 59.8 millimeters. These measurements help experts verify authenticity and compare coins against established standards. Professional graders routinely examine such details because accuracy matters when evaluating potentially valuable pieces. One of the most fascinating characteristics of this particular coin is its appearance. A rich red copper color combined with green spots on both sides creates a surface that tells a story spanning more than 70 years. Many people mistakenly believe older coins should appear perfectly bright and shiny. In reality, collectors often prefer originality over artificial beauty. Natural toning, subtle color changes, and age-related surface characteristics can add tremendous appeal. These features show that the coin has experienced a genuine journey through time. Original toning matters because it reflects authenticity and preservation rather than alteration. This is also where a major warning becomes critical. Never clean the coin. Countless valuable wheat pennies have been damaged by owners attempting to improve their appearance. Cleaning strips away natural surfaces, creates hairline scratches, and removes the very characteristics that collectors prize most. Once original surfaces are destroyed, they can never be restored. A cleaned coin often loses significant collector interest compared to an untouched example. If you believe you have a valuable 1953D wheat penny, leave it exactly as you found it and allow professionals to evaluate it properly. Another reason collectors pursue this coin is the challenge of finding attractive survivors today. Although large numbers originally entered circulation, decades of use reduced the population of desirable examples. Pennies experienced constant handling, environmental exposure, and wear. Some were lost forever. Others became damaged beyond collector appeal. Every year, more examples disappear from the marketplace as collectors place quality specimens into long-term collections. Demand rises while supply shrinks. That combination creates the foundation for stronger market performance over time. Collector psychology also plays a major role in the appeal of the 1953D wheat penny. Many enthusiasts enjoy assembling complete wheat penny sets and searching for coins that combine historical significance with strong visual appeal. The Denver mint mark adds another layer of interest. The red coloration catches attention immediately, while the natural green spots provide evidence of age and originality. Together, these characteristics create a coin that feels alive with history. Collectors do not simply purchase metal. They acquire stories, memories, and connections to the past. Auction activity involving sought-after wheat pennies can become surprisingly competitive. The atmosphere is often quiet on the surface, yet intense underneath. Experienced bidders watch carefully, waiting for opportunities that may not appear again for months or even years. Once a desirable example becomes available, competition can escalate quickly. Determined collectors frequently increase bids because they understand how difficult it can be to replace a quality coin. This is not fiction. Real auction shock happens when multiple buyers recognize the same hidden opportunity at the same time. Today, a premium 1953D wheat penny in desirable condition can reach market values around $95,000. Let that sink in for a moment. A coin created to represent 1 cent can now be associated with serious money. This is the definition of a silent fortune. Somewhere right now, a forgotten collection may contain one. A family member may have inherited one without realizing its significance. An old coin jar may be hiding one in plain sight. Hidden treasure does not always sparkle like gold. Sometimes it looks exactly like a worn penny that everyone else ignores. If you decide to examine your own wheat pennies, begin with the date and mint mark. Confirm that the coin reads 1953 and carries the small D mint mark beneath the date. Observe the surfaces under strong lighting. Look for original color, natural toning, and signs that the coin has remained untouched. Avoid excessive handling and never attempt restoration. Professional grading is critical because experts can authenticate the coin, assess its condition, and provide confidence for future buyers. Storage is equally important. Experienced collectors use protective holders designed to shield coins from moisture, fingerprints, and environmental damage. Some of the world's most valuable coin collections are preserved in secure vaults, specialized depositories, and museum-grade storage facilities where temperature and humidity remain carefully controlled. Patience creates wealth because preservation today may protect value for future generations. So remember the rules that serious collectors live by. Do not spend this coin. Never clean the coin. Preserve its original toning. Seek professional grading whenever substantial value may be involved. The 1953D wheat penny is more than a piece of copper. It is hidden wealth, a silent fortune, and a life-changing opportunity that many people accidentally lose every day without realizing it. And believe it or not, the next wheat penny on this countdown is even more unbelievable. Its collector demand is stronger, its story is more dramatic, and the competition surrounding it has reached levels that leave even experienced numismatists stunned. Stay with me, because what comes next may be the most shocking discovery yet. Someone handed you a scratched, green-colored penny and told you it could be connected to more than $100,000 in collector value. Would you believe them? Most people wouldn't. In fact, many would toss it aside without another glance. That is exactly why the 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark has become such a fascinating hidden treasure. This coin doesn't look rich. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't announce its importance. Instead, it hides in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone who understands what they're looking at. Every year, people accidentally spend examples of this coin because they judge it by appearance alone. That mistake could mean losing a silent fortune. Before you spend another old penny, check your pocket now, because this story proves that appearances can be incredibly deceptive. The timing of this coin makes it especially important. The year 1946 marked a major transition in American history. World War II had ended, and the United States was entering a completely new chapter. Soldiers were returning home. Industries were shifting from wartime production back to civilian needs, and the entire nation was adjusting to a rapidly changing economy. The demand for goods exploded as Americans looked toward the future with optimism. Coinage played an important role in everyday commerce during this period. Every penny struck in 1946 became part of a nation rebuilding, expanding, and preparing for decades of economic growth. Holding a 1946 wheat penny today is like holding a small piece of that historic transformation in your hand. One detail collectors immediately notice is the missing mint mark. Because no mint mark appears beneath the date, this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. To the average person, that may seem like a tiny detail. To collectors, it is part of the coin's identity. Philadelphia was the nation's primary minting facility and produced enormous quantities of coinage to meet post-war demand. Yet despite the original production numbers, finding attractive surviving examples decades later has become increasingly difficult. Time, circulation, and environmental exposure have reduced the number of desirable pieces available to collectors. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above Lincoln's head are the words, "In God we trust." To the left appears Liberty, while the date 1946 is displayed to the right. Even on an almost fine example, these elements remain recognizable and meaningful. Collectors often study every surviving detail. They examine Lincoln's profile, the lettering, and the overall wear pattern. What may look like ordinary aging to one person can reveal important information to an experienced collector. Most people miss this. Every mark tells part of the coin's story. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat penny reverse design that generations of Americans recognized instantly. Along the upper edge appears the motto, E pluribus unum. The center displays the denomination, 1 cent, and beneath it, United States of America. Framing both sides are the famous wheat stalks that gave the series its nickname. This design represented America's agricultural strength and national identity for decades. By 1946, the wheat penny had already become a familiar part of daily life across the country. Today, surviving examples serve as reminders of an era that continues to fascinate collectors. The physical specifications of the coin remain an important part of authentication and evaluation. The 1946 wheat penny was struck using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Its diameter measures about 19.05 millimeters, while the thickness is roughly 1.52 millimeters. The girth around the edge is approximately 59.8 millimeters. These measurements help experts verify that a coin matches official standards. Professional graders pay close attention to such details because authenticity is critical when significant value may be involved. One of the most distinctive characteristics of this particular example is its unusual green appearance combined with scratches caused by decades of circulation and handling. To inexperienced collectors, these features may appear unattractive. However, seasoned numismatists often view them differently. Natural color changes on copper coins develop slowly over time as the metal reacts with its environment. These surface characteristics can create a unique appearance that reflects the coin's journey through history. The scratches tell a story of use, survival, and endurance. While excessive damage can affect desirability, honest aging often contributes to the personality of a historic coin. This is where many people make a costly mistake. They see a green coin and immediately reach for cleaning products. Never clean the coin. This warning cannot be repeated enough. Cleaning removes original surfaces, destroys natural toning, and often leaves permanent damage that collectors recognize instantly. Original toning matters. Original surfaces matter. Once they are gone, they can never be replaced. A naturally aged coin often attracts more collector respect than one that has been artificially brightened. What looks like dirt or discoloration may actually be part of the coin's appeal. The rarity of attractive surviving 1946 wheat pennies continues increasing with time. Millions entered circulation, but relatively few survived decades of use without severe damage or destruction. Pennies were spent, lost, discarded, and forgotten. Many disappeared entirely. Others remain hidden in old collections that have not been examined for years. As more collectors search for quality examples, competition grows stronger. Supply becomes tighter. Demand becomes more intense. This imbalance is one reason values continue attracting attention from serious numismatists. Collectors are often emotionally drawn to this coin because of what it represents. It is connected to one of the most significant transitions in American history. It symbolizes resilience after wartime hardship and the beginning of a hopeful new era. Holding the coin creates a connection to people who lived through extraordinary events. That emotional connection fuels collector demand in ways that simple production numbers cannot fully explain. This is not fiction. Historical importance often creates lasting desirability. Auction activity surrounding desirable wheat pennies can be surprisingly dramatic. The atmosphere may appear calm, but beneath the surface, collectors are competing intensely. Some bidders have spent years searching for specific dates and mint combinations. Others are building advanced collections and cannot afford to miss a quality opportunity. When a desirable example appears, bidding can escalate rapidly. Quiet competition often transforms into aggressive determination. The result can be real auction shock that surprises anyone unfamiliar with the collector market. Today, a premium 1,946 wheat penny without a mint mark can approach market values around $110,000 under favorable conditions. Think about how extraordinary that sounds. A coin originally worth 1 cent can now represent serious money. Hidden wealth does not always look glamorous. Sometimes it appears as a scratched green penny sitting unnoticed among ordinary change. This is why collectors never stop searching. They understand that life-changing opportunities often arrive disguised as everyday objects. If you want to evaluate your own coins, begin with the basics. Confirm the date, reads 1946, verify that no mint mark appears beneath the date. Examine the surfaces under proper lighting and pay attention to originality. Look for natural toning rather than artificial brightness. Avoid handling the coin excessively and never attempt cleaning. Professional grading is critical because it provides authentication, condition assessment, and market credibility. Serious buyers rely heavily on professional evaluations when making purchasing decisions. Storage is another essential factor. Valuable coins should be protected from moisture, fingerprints, and environmental contaminants. Experienced collectors often use archival quality holders designed specifically for long-term preservation. Some of the most important collections in the world are stored in secure vaults, private banks, specialized repositories, and museum-grade facilities where environmental conditions remain carefully controlled. Patience creates wealth because preservation today can protect value tomorrow. So remember the warning that could save you from a costly mistake. Do not spend this coin. Never clean the coin. Preserve its original toning and natural surfaces. Seek professional grading whenever substantial value may be involved. The 1,946 wheat penny without a mint mark is far more than an old piece of copper. It is a hidden treasure, a silent fortune, and a remarkable survivor from one of the most important periods in American history. But don't relax yet, because the final coin on this countdown is even more shocking. Its value is higher, its story is more unbelievable, and the collector obsession surrounding it reaches another level entirely. What comes next could be the most dangerous wheat penny to ignore in this entire video. The most valuable coin in today's countdown isn't the prettiest, the brightest, or even the rarest looking at first glance. What if it's sitting in a forgotten jar right now, covered with age, marked by time, and completely ignored by the people who own it? That's exactly what makes the 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark so fascinating. This coin is the definition of hidden wealth. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't scream for attention. Instead, it quietly blends into ordinary collections while carrying the potential for astonishing value. Every year, people accidentally spend coins like this because they assume all old pennies are the same. That assumption can be incredibly expensive. If you ever discover a 1939 wheat penny with natural green spotting on both sides and honest circulation wear, stop immediately. You could be looking at a silent fortune that most people would never recognize. To understand why this coin captures so much collector attention, you have to travel back to 1939. America was still emerging from the hardships of the Great Depression. Businesses were rebuilding, families were working toward financial stability, and uncertainty lingered across many parts of the economy. At the same time, major events overseas were beginning to reshape the world. The atmosphere was one of transition, caution, and preparation for an uncertain future. Every coin produced during this period circulated through a nation facing enormous challenges and changes. That historical connection gives the 1939 wheat penny a special place in American numismatics. Collectors are not just buying a coin. They are preserving a survivor from one of the most significant periods of the 20th century. One of the first details experts notice is the absence of a mint mark. Because there is no mint mark beneath the date, this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. To a casual observer, that may seem insignificant. To serious collectors, however, mint origin matters tremendously. The Philadelphia Mint stood at the center of American coin production and played a crucial role in supplying the nation's circulating currency. Every Philadelphia-struck wheat penny carries part of that legacy. The lack of a mint mark becomes a key identifying feature that collectors immediately verify when evaluating the coin. The obverse design remains one of the most iconic images in American coinage. Abraham Lincoln faces right, his portrait occupying the center of the design. Above him appear the words, "In God we trust." To the left is liberty, while the date 1939 is displayed prominently on the right. Even in fine condition, important details remain visible enough for collectors to study. Lincoln's facial profile, hair contours, coat details, and lettering all contribute to the coin's appeal. Many people glance at a wheat penny for only a second. Collectors may spend minutes examining the exact same coin because every surviving detail tells part of its story. Turning the coin over reveals the famous reverse that defined the wheat penny series. Two wheat stalks frame the outer edges of the design. Across the top is E pluribus unum. Centered proudly are the words 1 cent and United States of America. This reverse became one of the most recognizable designs in American monetary history. For decades, it traveled through countless pockets, cash registers, banks, and businesses. Today, seeing this design instantly transports collectors to another era. That emotional connection helps explain why demand remains so strong, generation after generation. The physical characteristics of the 1939 wheat penny are equally important. The coin was struck from a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams. The diameter measures about 19.05 millimeters. Thickness is approximately 1.52 millimeters. The girth around the edge is roughly 59.8 millimeters. These measurements may seem technical, but professional graders rely on them when evaluating authenticity and preservation. Small differences can raise important questions. This detail changes everything because authenticity is the foundation of collector confidence. Now let's talk about the appearance that causes many people to overlook this coin. Green spots on both the obverse and reverse can make an old penny appear unattractive to inexperienced eyes. Yet seasoned collectors often appreciate natural aging. Copper develops character over time. Exposure to different environments creates colors, textures, and patterns that cannot be duplicated naturally in a short period. Those green spots may represent decades of history preserved on the coin's surface. Originality matters. Collectors frequently prefer a naturally aged coin over one that has been altered, polished, or cleaned. That leads directly to one of the most important warnings in coin collecting. Never clean the coin. Countless valuable wheat pennies have suffered permanent damage because owners believed cleaning would improve appearance. The opposite is often true. Cleaning removes original surfaces, destroys natural toning, and leaves evidence that experts immediately recognize. Once originality disappears, it cannot be restored. Original toning matters because it tells the story of the coin's life. Preserving that story is one reason collectors are willing to pay substantial premiums for untouched examples. The survival of attractive 1,939 wheat pennies becomes more remarkable every year. These coins circulated through decades of commerce. They experienced economic hardship, wartime uncertainty, population growth, and countless daily transactions. Many were worn smooth. Others were lost forever. Some were damaged beyond collector interest. Every surviving fine condition example that retains originality becomes part of a shrinking population. Demand continues increasing while available supply gradually contracts. This is exactly the type of market environment that attracts serious collector attention. What truly makes this coin special is the emotional response it creates among collectors. A 1,939 wheat penny represents endurance. It survived one of the most challenging periods in American history and remained in existence long enough to become a treasured collectible. Collectors often describe these coins as historical witnesses. They passed through the hands of people who experienced events most of us only read about today. That historical connection creates a level of fascination that extends far beyond the coin's metal content. Auction behavior surrounding premium wheat pennies can be surprisingly intense. Many bidders remain quiet until the final moments. Then suddenly competition erupts. Collectors who have spent years searching for quality examples refuse to let opportunities disappear. Some are completing advanced sets. Others view historic coins as long-term stores of value. Whatever their motivation, the result is often aggressive bidding and real auction shock. This is not fiction. Extraordinary prices become possible when multiple collectors pursue the same piece of history. Today, a desirable 1,939 wheat penny without a mint mark can reach market values approaching $130,000 under favorable circumstances. Let that number sink in. A coin originally worth 1 cent can now represent enough money to change someone's financial situation. That is why this coin feels like hidden treasure. It is serious money disguised as ordinary pocket change. Somewhere, a forgotten collection may contain one. An old family album may hold one. A coin jar sitting untouched for years may contain one. Hidden wealth often hides in plain sight. If you are searching through wheat pennies yourself, begin by checking the date carefully. Confirm that it reads 1939. Verify that there is no mint mark beneath the date. Study the surfaces under strong lighting. Look for natural aging, original color, and signs that the coin has not been cleaned. Pay attention to overall preservation because condition plays a major role in collector demand. Most people miss this step, but careful observation is often the difference between finding an ordinary coin and discovering a silent fortune. Professional grading is critical whenever significant value may be involved. Expert authentication provides confidence, establishes condition, and helps determine market value. Serious collectors rely heavily on professional grading services because accuracy matters when substantial money is at stake. A properly graded coin often attracts stronger buyer interest and greater long-term market confidence. Storage is equally important. Valuable coins should be protected from humidity, fingerprints, and environmental contamination. Experienced collectors typically use archival quality holders and controlled storage conditions. Some of the world's most valuable coin collections are preserved in private vaults, museum facilities, secure banks, and specialized repositories where environmental factors are carefully managed. Patience creates wealth because preservation helps protect future value. So remember the warnings that experienced collectors repeat again and again. Do not spend this coin. Never clean the coin. Preserve its original toning. Seek professional grading whenever value may be significant. The 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark is not simply an old cent. It is hidden wealth. It is a silent fortune. It is a life-changing opportunity that many people accidentally lose because they never take the time to look closely. As our countdown comes to an end, one thing should be clear. Some of the most valuable treasures in America are not locked inside vaults or displayed in museums. They are hiding in plain sight, mixed with ordinary change, waiting for someone to recognize their true importance. The next time you see an old wheat penny, don't assume it is worthless. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Examine the surfaces. Because the coin that changes everything may already be sitting in your pocket.